I'm going to show you how to do the setup row and the crown decreases for the NOEL A PARIS Beret. I have 5 locking stitch markers of the same color right here, and one that is significantly different from the others, and this one is going to signify my beginning of round. So I am making the DK weight, and the DK weight, in order for me to get the right number of stitches, there are some make ones in there, and not every weight does that. So some sizes and some weights you will just knit a certain number of stitches and then you'll place your locking marker on a, whatever stitch. For the DK size, you are actually going to place your locking marker on a made stitch, just because that was the way the math worked out. So I am doing a make one, and then I'm going to place locking marker right into the made stitch. I'm going to do it like this. Looks a little odd right now, but once I really get going with the decreases, it's going to be a little clearer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of my stitches. So this is my end of round, my last make one right, put in my end of round marker right here into the base of that twist, and I'm ready to start my next round. Now, I have all these lovely little markers hanging out here, and we are marking the fabric instead of putting the markers on the needles, because wherever you see one of these markers, this is going to turn into a central double decrease. And when you do a central double decrease, your center stitch, if we're looking at these 3, your center stitch is going to be laying flat on top, and the other 2 stitches from either side are going to go like this behind that center stitch. So it is a decreases from 3 stitches to 1, and the middle one is the one that's going to be front and center. This is important to note. This first panel right here is going to get smaller, just like all of the other panels. But this first stitch of your first repeat is going to play by different rules than the other first stitches of your other repeats, because this first stitch is actually part of the decrease from this panel, and it's going to continue to do that throughout your work. So you'll have to look on your chart, and your chart, you've got a triangle of your color work, and then on the left hand side you have a column of decreases and slip stitches and knit stitches. And you're going to have to remember that any row where there's a decrease, your first stitch of your first panel only is not charted. It's not there. It lies, because it's actually the stitch that you're going to decrease on the last repeat of that row. So let's look at what that looks like practically. I'm going to knit this first stitch, which is going to be part of the decrease at the end. So it's invisible, it's not here. And then we're going to follow the chart, which my first round of the chart that I'm doing is just knit anyway. So then I slip, I've got 1 stitch before the marker, 1 stitch that is marked. I'm going to slip both of these knitwise, knit this one, pass my 2 slip stitches over, and there's my central double decrease. Okay, so 1 stitch from this panel disappeared, and 1 stitch from this panel disappeared. And moving forward, my chart is going to be accurate. Coming up on the end of my first round, and I'm going to slip these. Knit this one. That was that one that I said wasn't there, right? Because we're decreasing it. pass these over, boom. So now rounds 2, 3, and 4 on my chart are going to have the correct number of stitches in every single panel because I'm not decreasing on rounds 2, 3, and 4.